I watched Spring Apart, and it was definitely action packed is an understatement. It
Thank you.
is batshit.
We agree.
So, how did the movie come to be?
So the movie came about, it was actually brought to us. And a lot of the times we'll develop movies and we'll pitch movies and we'll sell them to different distributors and networks. This one was the opposite. Somebody had came to us and asked us if we wanted to make a sequel to The Breed. And we watched that and we're like, this is cool, but it's 20 years old. It's from 2006. And this kind of creature feature with this exact same structure where we meet people we don't know in the beginning who get killed. And then we leave. Like that same thing's been done so many times that I said, well, if we're going to do it, we got to do it different and put a spin on it and make it for like we wanted to make it for like kids our age or like Gen Z and Gen Alpha today, which they have a different taste than the 2006 kids. And so Nathan was great at coming up with original concepts, and he's like, well, what if he came up with the whole concept of a movie within a movie and all that stuff. And I said, cool, I could be down with telling that kind of story and make it more of a comedy. And so that's how that all came about.
Right, and it's very modern day with the influencer life and the obsession with getting likes.
Hmm.
And I like that it kind of took that and kind of flipped it off a little bit.
Yeah, with that, like I've seen a lot of horror movies where they have influencers, like and they just end up getting killed, and they're kind of like a caricature of influencers or content creators. And I really like that world, and I'm friends with a lot of people in that world. And so when we wrote the script, it's like that's where you have the dichotomy of Violet, who's kind of against it, and that's
Hmm.
Nathan pretty much handled Violet's
Hey,
writing,
wait.
and then Collins, who's totally pro it, and I handle that because that's like our real life point of view. So it's like you have that kind of conflict between those characters. And I wrote Collins and he wrote Violet
Yeah.
mainly. Yeah.
And we did definitely play into the stuff about influencers that everybody goes like, oh God, like, and we would, and our characters definitely do some of those things, but then we also show that they're people too, and they have goals and ambitions and the three-dimensional elements of that as they run for their lives from dogs.
Yeah, definitely,
Right.
definitely, and that makes them more human. Is that we're now, well, we don't want to see them die. Well, not all of them, but you don't want to see them suffer. So it makes them more human and more relatable. And I like that. And there were so many dogs. How many real dogs were on set?
Not that many, not nearly that many, like
There's about
10,
10 dogs.
10 dogs, 10 dogs plus one puppy.
Yeah. 10 dogs and a puppy.
Yeah,
And a Rottweiler who was just there for emotional support for the other dog. He was like
that's
the
right.
leader of all the German
That's
Shepherds,
right. I
but he was
forgot
never
about
on
the
camera.
Rottweiler.
Yeah.
That dog was that was actually a pretty scary looking dog, and he was by far the friendliest too. So
Yeah, and the best trained. He kind
and
of
the
cuts
best
all the
trained.
German Shepherds and Belgian Malinois
And yeah.
but the script are supposed to be World War Z level dogs, and so in a lot of the shots where you see groups of dogs, if you look really closely, there's 10 real dogs running in that group, and they're surrounded by digital dogs,
Right, right, like Spotty.
like Spike. Yeah,
Like Spike, yeah.
which we have a practical Spike and then a digital Spike.
We do have, yes, we do.
But
And
Practical Spike is not in the movie that much because Practical Spike is too friendly.
yes, far too friendly.
Tail wagging too much.
Yes, a
That
lot
kind
of
of a
that.
thing.
Tail wagging, tongue out, just looking for a treat,
Yeah.
which is probably our own fault because in between each take,
We fed them treats.
yeah, we fed them. Yeah,
That's how you get them to say train.
right. But I
That's their
mean,
whole motivation.
we're also scratching their face and telling them that they're such good boys and stuff. That's not helpful. But that's so we probably created our own problem there because us and the cast would just want to love on these dogs in between each take because they're so lovable. But there we go.
Right. How did you approach when we're going to make the kill scenes? And I know you don't want to, kind of reveal too much, but there's some really clever scenes there. Like for example, stop telling it. Um, like the one with the bottle,
Sorry, the which one?
like the one with the bottle.
Oh, that was his invention in the screenplay.
We just decided that we figure it's like if we have these many dogs, we have to start making different kinds of dogs. And how do you do that? Let's just start doing a small homage to body horror. You know, that's essentially what we're doing.
Yeah,
right?
we try to make them all different. It's like you're working with a massive scale of a script, but not the Avengers budget. So it's like we're always trying to do things differently, which is why we kind of departed from just doing a straightforward, straight ahead creature feature like the original Breed. Is like, let's do something like, at least in concept, we can do new things.
Right.
Like,
Well,
Bob.
when it came to cast, how did y'all go about doing that? Because y'all made some really good choices.
We were very lucky to get the cast. They're amazing. All
Yeah,
of them.
we thought hard about it, and we went after. It's like I find that with casting, that the more specific and the more you could be certain about something, the better it is. So we spent a lot of time like shuffling headshots before we made any calls, and we had to be certain that we wanted those people, and then we got them. So like Ginny and Grace, we thought a lot about that, and they're the first people that we contacted for those roles. And same with like Troy, because I love the Goldbergs, which he's on that show.
Fantastic actor.
And it was like he's the first person we thought about, and so we called his agent. And Rial, I know Rial because I have a kid
great.
who watches Rial's show, and I always liked Rial on that show that she's on. So Rial was our first choice for that, and Paige was not, but I love Paige because Paige's character was written completely differently.
He was written as a Ichabod Crane-esque, sort of tall, lanky, sort of white dude, maybe showing up.
Opie
Hey,
white
hey.
guy,
Yeah.
and we liked what Paige brought to it. He's the one instance where it's completely different than how we wrote it,
Completely
but we
different.
loved how it came out.
Right. And like I said, the movie was fun. There were a few moments where the dog lover in me kind of felt it when somebody would, get hit. But, I still found it fun.
You got it.
So, if you could just give, what do you think the viewer is going to take away from it?
I just want it to be a good time. Like when I was like 12, 13, 14, 15, like those are the most impressionable movies and I'll remember them for the rest of my life. Whereas now that I'm in my 40s, I don't remember what I watched last week. Right. So it's like, this would just be like a fun, right? Like I remember movies like this from when I was a kid, and some of them are even lesser known, but I'll always remember them. And because I watched them over and over again because they were fun. So it's like, that's who I'm making it for. That's why the editing is so fast. There's so much action because it's made for kind of the people who grew up on YouTube. And the kids that we've shown to have absolutely loved it because it kind of feels like something they're not supposed to be watching necessarily because it's like, it is rated R, but it's not like a hard R, right? It's like something that's just cool. So that's, I just want it to be like memorable for kids and to have a really good time, and for adults and people who love horror and like love horror comedy.
It's supposed to be just a fun homage to like the popcorn flick, that's kind of what we're looking for. And I think for both of us, we were really inspired by all those kind of like fun, big monster movies and creature things. A lot of even the Spielberg stuff like Jurassic Park. We're so inspired by that, and we just wanted to make our own little piece of that for the best way we could for kids,
Right. And I think they will remember it. And I appreciate y'all taking the time to talk with me so much. It was fun.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for watching it.